Sean, hey, man, welcome. Too late to cancel on Sunday. Man, we're so glad you guys are here another Sunday morning joining us to hang out with us. We always have great shows. We have another great show this week. We got new friends. We got returning friends. It's going to be a blast. Before we get started, of course, I'd love you to go to that YouTube channel and hit subscribe. Smash the subscribe button because, we need more subscribers because that's the cool place to hang out. But if you're on our social networks, FP Wallin on Twitter, Blue Sky, wherever they have you hang out with us, you're always welcome. We love all the friends we can have, but we're glad to have you. Man, this week, the last couple of weeks have been some fun, huh? How about them Epstein Files? Hey, JJ, let's run Carolyn Levitt. I think it was Thursday. This has gone so horribly awry for Trump. It is the ultimate sort of justice, the worm turning, the FAFO, all the things you can think of, the terms. But this is Carolyn Levitt. I think she seems flustered to me. JJ, let's see Carolyn Levitt trying to explain things on Thursday.
The Attorney General to do an exhaustive review of all files related to Jeffrey Epstein, which they did. The Attorney General and the FBI, led by Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, these are great patriots, some of the most trusted voices in the Republican Party movement. It's part of the reason the president appointed them to these high law enforcement positions, and they spent many months going through all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein, and they concluded what they found in that memo, which they drafted and they released. And so the president has been transparent. He has followed through on his promises to the American people, but he doesn't like to see Democrats and the mainstream media covering this like it's the biggest story that the American people care about.
They're freaking out. And my favorite part of that is where she says that Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are leading voices of the Republican movement. That's why they were appointed to the FBI. I want you to wrap your head around that. Because I know it's hard to remember, it was like 6 months ago, but there was actually a time where the Attorney General and the head of the FBI and the deputy were actually law enforcement people. And their job is to do law enforcement, right? Not the Republican movement. Matter of fact, Dan Bongino is the first deputy FBI director who wasn't an agent. Okay. But the woman is so bad at her damn job. She gave away the whole game by saying these are Republicans. I don't want to give a shit about the FBI director's party is, but that's what they said. So they're definitely freaking the F out, right? And they should be. Here's the kind of things that are being thrown back in their face. Our friends at Blue Georgia did this video. Here's just a short clip of Benny Johnson. This is just 5 months ago talking to Kash Patel. Now, keep an eye on Kash's eyes because they're all over the place, but watch the video.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Simple, because who's on the list? Who could be on the list? Somebody on the internet said today that there's more pictures of Trump and Epstein than me and my fucking grandma. And that is actually true. All right. These guys loved hanging out. And Kash Patel said it himself, the FBI's president. And now that he's the FBI director, nothing to see here, folks. The ridiculousness of it and the fallout has been wondrous. And and those of us who are kind of sitting back, those of us who've been battling this Trump era for goddamn 10 years now, and all the lies all the conspiracy theories, all the bullshit they've spread to move their movement forward. And now that snake is curled around and bit him in his fat ass. This is Nick Fuentes. Now, there's some harsh words in here, folks. I know we have some tender ears on Sunday mornings, but this is now Nick Fuentes, the racist. This is not a good person, okay? I show Nick Fuentes because, you make your bed, you crawl into bed with some people, and this is what you get. Here's Nick Fuentes talking Epstein Files.
And now he says, if you're not on board with the Epstein cover-up, I don't want your support. You're a weakling. Fuck you. Fuck you. You suck. You are fat. You are a joke. You are stupid. You are not funny. You are not as smart as you think you are. You are, and honestly, and if you watch my show, I've been very critical. I've never been this far. This just goes to show this entire thing has been a scam. When we look back on the history of populism in America, we are going to look back on the MAGA movement as the biggest scam in American history. And the liberals were right. The MAGA supporters were had. They were. When we look back in history, we will see Trump as a scam artist who served as a vehicle for this rather than the other way around. We were not the vehicle for Trump. Trump was the vehicle for all of us.
So great. I am having the time of my life. There's not enough popcorn on earth. I wish I had a bowl of popcorn. JJ, I fucked up. I didn't bring popcorn. I mean, y'all, now this does mask very serious things. This is a criminal cover-up, okay? This is a very serious situation. There is every reason to believe there's talk of, I believe the FBI said there was 1,700 photos they found in Epstein's house. This is some really sick stuff. One accuser, as you know, committed suicide recently. This is some very dark criminal behavior. And while I laugh at Donald Trump being uncomfortable because it's hilarious, by the same token, they are covering up a crime. And look, very clearly, the one that the MAG always likes to say when we're online about this, like, oh, you guys don't want the truth because Bill Clinton's in there or whatever from Microsoft. No, you don't understand. We don't care. We don't care. I don't care who's in it. If they're a criminal and they did it wrong, let them burn. I don't care. This isn't about politics, but they do. They know Trump's in there. Anyway, great entertainment. If you're into that kind of thing, obviously I am. It's what I do for a living, and it's just going to get worse. And so we want to actually talk about that and another lot of things. And so I'm very blessed. I'm good. The great thing about my life is I get to meet really cool people like Shan Wu. Okay. Now, Shan, of course, is a Washington, D.C. based lawyer, practices areas good white collar defense, college student defense. He was in the he was a federal prosecutor. Shan's been around. You have seen him on TV. Now he joins us looking like he got in a hockey fight because he's an American and he didn't want to miss the show. And so Shan, come on in the show. It's great to have you, my brother.
Hey, good to be here. So let me start by addressing the 800-pound girl in the room, which is why am I missing 2 front teeth? So, your viewers, and you may not know, I used to be an amateur boxer. My first trainer was two-time heavyweight world champion Floyd Patterson. I actually sparred with him. Of course, he didn't actually hit me. That's important. Nothing ever like this happened to me until I ate some salad.
Well, there's where you screwed up. You're not supposed to eat salad. We're not made to eat salad. I love it. I think it's awesome. And you should be telling, like, look at you should see the other guy, that effing carrot.
Exactly. I basically ate the other guy. So.
I love it. And look, as we dressed alike too. We even dressed in matching clothes. We should. This is like that meme. Shit. But I'm not changing. I'm wearing my black t-shirt. Shan, great to have you. Thanks so much for taking time for us. If you guys know our business, when you got a professional like Shan, who one has a full-time day job and also appears on TV, trying to book them can be challenging. So it's such a privilege to have you join us on Too Late to Cancel. I'm just thrilled to have you, my friend. We were joking about the Epstein Files, and it is funny in a certain sense. It's kind of funny to see them squirm, but it is actually a very serious thing, isn't it? I mean, Pam Bondi announced there was nothing there. I mean, as a former U.S. attorney, you've got to be horrified. I mean, I'm love to hear your opinion.
Yeah, the whole thing has been horrifying from the get-go. Let's go back in history to Trump 1. They cut him a deal, not even a deal. They dismissed the case, no pros. And the person who did that was later Trump's labor secretary, Acosta. And Acosta then resigned once Epstein actually got arrested. And then on top of that, of course, we all know Epstein kills himself in jail. What really strikes me about what's going on here is mainstream media, breathless coverage, MAGA's imploding, will Bondi get fired? Will Dan Bongino, whatever his name is, get fired? I mean, who cares? He's not doing anything anyway. The real purpose, right, is the real here is what can the Democrats do with this by calling for transparency? And even if they can't get it to a vote, that is enormously important. And number two, what's really important is the fact that it shows just what Trump's base was all about. This enormous mob conspiracy theory, and that's why he's taking flack from his followers right now. And the ridiculousness of the Attorney General of the United States taking a position that she has the client list on her desk, and now she's got to walk it back and say, I didn't really mean the client list, I meant the files. It's an enormous egg on the face for DOJ, but of course it shows just how lousy and unprofessional this Department of Justice is. And now that's in the spotlight, what should happen is there should be congressional pressure on DOJ to actually do something. Let them release redacted files, of course. Let them even call witnesses. There are still so many Epstein victims out there. It would really shine some sunlight on this to put them on and let them talk about what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've got the votes. I know that. I think of all things, I think Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna of all on a bipartisan bill. I saw an article today. They've got the votes to force a vote and pass the committee. Does it matter? Do you think they can actually do something with that?
I think what they're trying to do at the moment is just to get DOJ to preserve the documents, which in a normal administration, it's like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But here, you really have some questions. What's going to happen to the files themselves? But if they can get them to do that, if they could hold some hearings on it, I think that really shine light on this. Once you start to get people testifying about this, as you know, there's only so much the members can do to control that dialogue when you have a witness there talking about it. I really doubt there would be any prosecutions under this DOJ. They're too busy rounding up innocent people, immigrants, to do anything else. But it would really shine the light on really what happened with Epstein. And who knows, maybe they'll actually find some people they could prosecute. I mean, they all want it to be a bunch of Democrats who are on the list. Huge problem for Trump. That's why it's not going to happen. I mean, by all indicia, he's got to be all over the place, maybe even on recordings. And obviously, they're not going to ever let that come out. So therefore, the real opportunity is to show how they're refusing to let it come out. That's where I think the real sort of value of this is going to be, rather than actual criminal prosecutions.
And it goes right back to the same old story of politics, Shan, and law. And you've worked the highest reaches. You worked for Janet Reno, for God's sake. It's not actually the times is the cover up. Nixon didn't lose his job because of the crime; he lost it because of the cover up. And so where Trump is bemoaning the interest, and where Carolyn Levitt is bemoaning this is not an important story. No, it wasn't. It shouldn't have been. But since you guys clearly sold it, they gave out binders that was the first Epstein files that were nothing. They've been doing this themselves, and then to act like it shouldn't be a story, they literally made it a story. I've never seen. You said something really key: unprofessional, amateur hour DOJ, isn't it? I mean, it's just over and over a clown show at the DOJ now, isn't it?
Absolutely. And what they have done is they've created criminal liability, because if there are congressional hearings, they're testifying under oath, and there are already so many inconsistencies about what they're saying. Anyone who comes forward from the administration is putting themselves at jeopardy for making false statements to Congress. So that's kind of the trap that they built for themselves right now, besides the political repercussions.
Which there may or may not be. It does, when you see the MAGA movement itself splitting and saying, and when Trump lashes out, calling them stupid, and there are going to be. I mean, he's always nurtured that, and it's not going to help. You mentioned the fifth, and I think we should circle back to that. There is something else going on. It hasn't gotten as much attention because of the Epstein files, and that's this investigation of Biden's health and the cover up of Biden's health. And it's my understanding. I know you were talking about earlier. There's a number of the Biden officials been called and have pleaded the fifth and refused to testify before Congress. For those who haven't heard about all this, can you kind of give us a summary of what's going on, and that's what's driving that situation?
Sure. My initial take on this quite a few months ago, when they were talking about they're going to question Biden's use of the auto pen, he doesn't know what he is, et cetera, kind of all ridiculous. But my initial take was on, good luck with that. I mean, you're not going to get his staff to be testifying that actually he didn't know what he was doing and I faked his signature and such. But really interesting development, when they did call some of the officials there, they took the fifth. And I was like, wow, what's up with that? And of course, the reaction in the Republican world is, oh, they are covering up something terrible. But it's not. I mean, just so it's very clear, taking the fifth simply means that you don't want to expose yourself to potential criminal liability. And the key thing there is, who is in charge of DOJ right now? They are daily, by the minute, threatening criminal prosecutions, criminal charges, opening investigations. If I was a lawyer for these witnesses, I'd say you're crazy to say a word. Again, going back to the false statements to Congress, if you say anything and they want to trip you up, you're going to give them an opening just to say that you're lying and try and charge you with something. Some reporters have asked me, what would the actual criminal charges be for whatever these allegations are? If Biden was incompetent, that they're hiding it. Frankly, I can't even think of anything. I mean, maybe they're impersonating the president. There's nothing there. But once you start talking about it under oath, you're creating a problem. And that's why they're taking the fifth. And that's kind of the pushback that we need to explain to people that they're not taking the fifth because there's some real hidden thing. And here's the obvious solution, right, Fred? If Congress really wanted to hear about this, they're taking the fifth, give them immunity. You wipe out the Fifth Amendment concern, let them talk. If you really wanted to hear about what you're asking, which is, was Biden competent? Was it all done by the auto pen? Then you say, okay, you're afraid, you got immunity. Nothing can happen to you. But they won't do that.
No, because they do want to get him arrested because everything they can do is they've got to change the story. They've got to change the topic. And that's on top of, we found out this week that Trump actually has a serious a vein issue. He's got at the like stage 3 or 4 of actually a very serious circulation issue. That's why his legs are swollen. I mean, they're desperately to change a lot of story. I mean, the irony of them investigating Biden's competency the same week that Trump's health is clearly not, when they've been lying about his health. Once again, another lie. He's perfectly healthy. He's going to live 200 years. Oh, no, he has these giant swollen legs. He has a heart valve problem that leads to less circulation. And there's interesting about that sickness that he's got. My dad had it, and he was not healthy, I assure you. So it's just the constant trying to change the topic. But what's interesting about this group is they suck at it. I mean, they really don't, they just make everything worse every time they open their mouths. And it is very frustrating. And along those lines, again, back to that first story, the Epstein story, they fired Maureen Comey, Jane Comey's daughter, who is a professional prosecutor and has been. She prosecuted the Epstein case. She prosecuted the case. Again, how do you change the subject? Fire the person that was in charge? What do you think of that?
Well, strategically and tactically, it makes no sense at all, because if she was still within DOJ, a lot of restrictions on what she can say about anything.
Sure.
But now kicked her out of DOJ, good luck with that in terms of what she can or can't talk about. You can't control her anymore. The other kind of irony on that part is, if you're saying that there's nothing to it, she got the only conviction related to Epstein, which was his sidekick, former girlfriend, Miss Maxwell. She's doing time right now for the sex trafficking. And yet you fire her saying that there's no case here. So what, you want to maybe pardon Maxwell? I mean, what's going on? It's just a completely inconsistent statement. And from a legal standpoint, it doesn't make any sense to kick her out of DOJ, because in DOJ, you have enormous control on what you can do and say. Once you kick her out, much less control over that.
Yeah. And that goes to, I was doing some research. We were getting ready. I think they fired another 20 career employees last week or a week and a half ago. I mean, they're really tearing through the professional employees of the DOJ. And I've never seen so a politicized DOJ. You served in the DOJ previously. You work with them now as a private attorney. It's shocking to see this politicization, isn't it?
Yeah. It's, where you can tell just how bad it's gotten. And it's hard to tell whether it's because it's a lack of personnel or whether people are just revolting. I mean, a whole bunch of the people in the section that defends federal policies, it's called federal programs, they all quit. All right. And what you're seeing is very high level officials, Emil Bove, showing up in court, making arguments to judges. I mean, that's like unheard of to be doing that. Usually have layers and layers of people doing that, but they're beginning to have these high level people show up and do it because there's kind of no one else to do it. And what that really means too is what work is really being done. All the other normal functions of DOJ all seem to have ground to a halt right now, other than putting everything into immigration enforcement.
That's a very dangerous place. I guess last thing, you brought up Emil Bove. So on Thursday, kind of a dramatic event, in the committee, which is usually pretty tame, if you will. Chuck Grassley, ancient Chuck, dinosaur Chuck, came in and just forced a vote on Emil Bove and never gave the Democrats a chance to speak. So Cory Booker, and all the Democrats got up and stormed out. Why is Emil Bove such a lightning rod?
He's really been the classic henchman or hatchet man for Trump at DOJ.
Right, he's Trump's attorney, wasn't he?
Right, and he kind of looks a little bit like a henchman too.
I like the henchman. That's a good one. I'm going to use that more. That's an old word, like groceries. Sorry.
He was Trump's personal attorney, and he does have prosecution experience, but he elevated him to this very high position in DOJ. And now, with this quick elevation to the Federal Court of Appeals, this is a guy who has no real academic credentials. He's never written a word. There's no sort of academic policies or law review articles, anything like that. He gets on to this lifetime tenure appointment, and obviously he is right in line to be elevated to the Supreme Court. That's why it's such a lightning rod. Very unqualified and will completely do Trump's bidding on the court. And so that opens up the graceful exit, if you can call it that, if Alito or Thomas want to step down. Now, I'm not so confident that either of those two guys with their enormous egos would even want to step down. But he's got somebody like Bove in the wings waiting if anything happens.
Just terrifying. What a terrifying thought. Well, thanks so much, Shan. Your perspective was wonderful. I love it. My favorite. You're gonna be our official lawyer now. We like it now. We both wear our black shirts and come on the show. Okay. Where can people find you, Shan?
Oh, they can find me certainly on Blue Sky, and also really important. Almost forgot. I just started a Substack, so please.
Yes.
It's called Under Color of Law, and we hope that people will subscribe and catch me there too.
Right. Well, we're broadcasting live on Substack now. We love our Substack audience, so we'll make sure we tag you. Shan, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you coming on, even though you're missing some teeth. Good luck in the next fight, the next salad.
Right,
Hopefully,
exactly.
the main course was better than the salad. And thanks so much. Have a great day, brother.
All right. Thanks.
It was so funny. Shan called me last night. Says, "Hey, I want to come on, but weird thing." I'm like, whatever. We don't care. It's the internet. Yeah, whatever. Man. Man, a lot of crazy stuff going on. A lot to talk about. We can laugh about it if we can't. I think we laugh about it because you have to. Otherwise, you'll lose your mind. But here on Too Late to Cancel, we do laugh about things because we have great guests. So I'm so excited to have returning friends and new guests. And the panel this week is two great comedians with very unique journeys to where they are. Chanel Ali. She's a stand-up comedian, writer, actor, living in New York City. You know her from Netflix's Dash and Lily or her time on MTV's Girl Code. Really cool thing. I won't let her give the announcement away yet. She's got her one-woman show. It's coming up big. We talked about last time you were here in May. Chanel, we're glad to have you. And then we're also joined for the first time with Vic Pandya. He's a national touring stand-up comic based in Chicago, Central Time Zone guy. Thank you for that. You also listen to his while he's touring. He's been all over. He's had some hit shows. He has also got a popular podcast called The Business of Comedy on all platforms. Let's get him on in here. All right. Wow, that was a quick transition that time, JJ. usually there's a whole thing. Vic, it's good to see you, man. And Chanel, great to have you back. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good to be here.
Yeah. Well, I want to give the big news to Chanel first, Vic. So, Chanel, you announced today you are going off Broadway with your one-woman show. Tell us more. Look at that.
Off-Broadway run.
Hercules.
It's my one-woman show. I just came back from touring with it in Australia. Now I'm doing an off-Broadway run. It's executive produced by Sarah Cooper.
Wow.
I'm really excited. It's going to be at the Soho Theater in New York City, September 17th to the 28th. Hoping to get an extended run. And then Broadway, baby.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. I've seen you. The wonderful thing about this show is I got to talk to so many of you guys, comedians, actors, and all, and to see the success you're having. Of course, Lysandra is all over the place now. Lysandra started her daily comedy, her briefings, and now she's blowing up. It's just great to see you guys succeed. So, Vic, I'm telling you, man, this is the launching point. You had no idea that some shitty Sunday show.
Well, honestly, when you guys asked me to do it, your producer reached out and I saw the list of guests and I recognized all the names. And I was like, oh, these are all people I respect. Like Chanel and I don't think we actually met in person, maybe briefly, but she was in Chicago. And quick funny story about her is when she reached out, when comics are traveling to other states or cities, they'll always be like, hey, can I do your show? And they'll message. Her message was like, here's my credits, here's my clip. Also, if you want to just hang out and black out, like, we can do that. Like, it was just a really funny. I like this person. I haven't met her yet. I like the vibe. And
this is my people.
Yeah.
I get it.
Come on.
And Vic, you've got a weird journey. I always like talking about the journey. Your journey is so interesting to me. You were a finance guy, you were a finance bro, whatever, and now, look, I know the Indian people. Are your parents proud of you? Is that a battle for you to go from finance to comedy?
Yeah. I mean, finance guy, you can tell by the haircut.
Yeah.
I was doing finance for a while and doing stand-up at the same time, but I was not really telling like my family or really anybody how much stand-up I was doing until it to the point where, it started to conflict because this was like pre-pandemic. Everyone was going to the office and it was one of those things where it started to get so busy with stand-up and I just had to make a choice. And the pandemic kind of made that for me because I was like, oh, maybe I'll go full time, maybe I won't. And then I just had no job and no comedy for like a couple of years. So,
Those things go together.
I started doing, Zoom shows, stuff like that. And I stayed writing and creating projects during the pandemic. And then once the pandemic ended, I was like, oh, I'm just a full-time comic now. I can't go back. It had been too long. Like I got out of the groove.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting. You actually did Second City, which is improv, a lot of improv, and you do a lot of crowd work. Crowd work's kind of your jam. A lot of it. That's bordering on improv as much as anything else, isn't it?
Yeah, in Chicago, I don't know what there's like this weird like improv and stand-up hatred that kind of exists for some reason.
I was gonna say, right? I mean, Chanel told me, right?
I was gonna say it's not just in Chicago.
It's everywhere. Like,
she's in New York, bro.
we look down at improvisers because they're like, oh, you got a little group. We're up here by ourselves. We have nobody. We take the risk, all the rewards. So we have this chip on our shoulder. But in Chicago, because Second City's here, especially pre-pandemic, there was this great collaboration between improv and stand-up. Like I would open for improv teams. I'd open for like TJ and Dave at the IO Theater, like really legendary people. And so I got to use a lot of the improv training in those openings to kind of ease my way in, because otherwise it's just awkward to have a stand-up go out and just start with jokes versus like talk to the audience. So I have always leveraged those skills in my stand-up, and I host like my own weekly late night style talk show in Chicago where I interview guests and do all that sort of stuff. So I really enjoy the improv elements. And for stand-ups, like we write jokes, we love jokes, but you tell the same joke for 6 months, you're bored of it, So how do you keep it exciting to yourself is improv. And unfortunately in comedy, like sometimes a riff or something you came up on the spot will work better than a joke you've been doing for 2 years. So a little bit of like the reward and the payoff for the audience to be like, oh, that's only in this show that we saw that.
We had Lace Larry last week, and you'll appreciate, and she was talking about the challenges of getting people to go to live shows. They're seeing your work on Instagram, they're seeing your work on TikTok, and it's really kind of forced. I mean, Chanel, you've been at this for a lot longer than you look. Do you feel that pressure too? You've got to do something original because they saw it on Instagram, it went viral, so now you can't do that fucking joke all the time, right?
Absolutely, and like I think we're like the first generation of comedians that have had a sizable amount of career that public has had free access to, kind of really, in mass quantity. So it's a new era of trying to make sure that you are an artist and not a machine, but also that you are fresh and that you're not saying the same thing, and that they're going to see a show that when they tell people about it sounds very different from the show they saw you already do online. But I had to build up my improv and my crowd work muscle. When I first started, for years, I would never talk to the crowd because I sincerely did not want to hear them speak. And it was a hard thing to do.
I think I understand that. Yeah.
I remember having a comedy bestie who would be like, but Chanel, you're so witty and you're so quick and you're so fun. And I'm like, yeah, but I really don't want to talk to them. And that it's my turn to talk. And I had to really work on that, about like allowing myself to take 40 seconds and ask this guy if he's married, just give him a little bit, because sometimes it does inspire a thought or a feeling or just an interaction that is gold. And, it's like the reason that you talk about a car accident with somebody that you never met before. You're just standing there. It's like, it's human. We just saw it. It's live,
Yeah. I love it. And look, no judgment. Now you're on OnlyFans. And I was laughing. And there you go, right? Like, hey, Mom, on OnlyFans, but not like you think. I mean, I honestly, I was getting ready for the show for both you guys. It's OnlyFans TV. They have a comedy series, right, where they're doing specials. Tell me about that. I guess Chanel, you can start, but Vic, you're on there too, I think, aren't you?
Yeah, I just I did a show for them in New York City. They have like showcases that they do, like OnlyFans showcases. They invite a lot of influencers out. They're not very good audience, but I had a great and I just, I had a friend who recently did a special with them, and, she hasn't been doing comedy as long as me, and she was like, Chanel, you should absolutely do it. This community is so supportive. And I've always wanted to experiment with like safe for work content, or just requiring fans to pay me money before they tell me their thoughts. I think that's fair. And now I'm getting it. Anytime a guy wants to tell me about a joke that he loves, he's got to pay me first. You can't just send me a free message on OnlyFans. So it's been a great experience for me.
I love it. Vic, similar experience? Or did you just tell the parents you're on?
Hit on the head. Like, this is the era of comedy where there's so much free content, and we're just expected to produce this constantly, and it creates like really topical current comedy, which is great, but it's a never-ending battle of like writing, producing, putting out content, and so people have become a little entitled. Like audiences will go on and to leave a comment on a clip that you're like, oh, this wasn't funny. You're like, I wrote that today. I'm trying to get people shit, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's brutal. So, and OnlyFans, I kind of did it for the exact same reasons. I was like, it would be cool to have something on a platform that's not traditionally my audience, that is a paywall behind it. And it's not necessarily like a Patreon, but it works kind of like Instagram with content, and you can drop stuff. So it's been good. I mean, the audiences were weird. Chanel was exactly right. Like, who's coming to see a free taping for something? But they're shot incredibly well, and they look like they're on Netflix. They're really well.
Yeah, look, that shocked. Yeah, it looked really pro. I mean, it did look like a Netflix series to me.
And they treat you really well. Like, they pay you. You know, it's a whole day. They have like hair, makeup. They have the whole thing. It's a full shoot. You know, it's not. They're not messing around, and they have the resources to do it. So it's cool. But like, you know, I'm not putting any other content on there besides comedy. So like, I made some money on it, and then it just took a real plateau. Like after the initial drop, and that's fine. Like once I'm ready to start posting feed pics, I'll do it. But I haven't reached that point yet.
Who was the comedian? I gotta get her up.
And for me, I was like, I used to post thirst traps online for free all the time.
You did. I've seen them. I have gone deep into the archives, and you did. You got very saucy.
I was like, oh, no more free thirst traps. That's done. That's done.
No, I'm the same way. I with my fans. There's a lot of people thirsty for a 6-year-old guy, a little chonky.
People are really respectful. I've had people tell me horrendous stuff, but they do it like, "Hey, how's your day going?" And they like start with some pleasantries. It's nice. I appreciate it.
I get it. Well, who is the comedian? She says that she has just enough father drama to be a comedian, but not enough to be an OnlyFans model. And I think you guys have found the sweet spot between the two.
Comedian is at this level, and then OnlyFans is like one more level. You know, like that's definitely true.
Hey, well, at least it makes us funny, right? I mean, that's the thing, you know. Right. That's all the my stuff. You know, and Chanel, you know, I saw a bit as we were getting ready about I guess Candace Owens got into it with Priscilla about the matriarchy versus the patriarchy. I figured you had an opinion on that. And for those who don't know, you know who Candace Owens is, you know, and so she is convinced that we are actually in a matriarchy. I'd love your thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, she says Kamala's name wrong, and that's like, come on now, Candace, come on now. But bigger than that, because I think the points are made by Priscilla so expertly, I don't need to repeat them. I like talking about it in the guise of like why people say women aren't funny and why we don't have as many female comedians, and it's not often just because this is some male-dominated environment and this male-dominated mentality. It's also because women haven't been educated enough to believe in themselves or to try something that their uncles and their teachers and their counselors and their grandfathers have been telling them. Women just are not good at that. We're just, it's a man thing, you know, to have wit and humor and something to say. It's just not for you. And so when we have women, especially in America, you know, a lot of America's got like a 6th grade reading level. They're not even very expertly, you know, educated people. So we have all these women, and I just wish that there wasn't some dentist in Idaho who's sitting there every day with a funny thought, and she's never going to be a comedian because her dad kept telling her, you know, women, they're just not good at it. They're just not that funny. Yeah. And you know, it's a man thing. It's a collared shirt thing, you know?
Yeah. And we're so far past that, you know, I mean, look, Vic's a finance guy. I mean, not the funniest people, not the hallmark of humor, if you will. Usually, it's not like toxic humor, I guess, right, Vic? I mean, you know, it's
a very bro culture, and I kind of got pushed into it a little bit because similar to what Chanel was saying, you know, from the immigrant standpoint, it's like, and like you were saying at the top, your parents are kind of pushing you into careers that are lucrative, so you don't really think you have choice. And I was never really doing anything artistic until college and beyond. So once I started doing that, I was like, oh, I really like this, but for 20 years of my life, I've been pushed in this one direction. So it wasn't until I started doing it on my own that I was like, oh, I don't care about this job at all. And then I just started acting up. I got fired a bunch of times. I just like started really just on a path of like, oh, I've unlocked this other side of my brain and I can't go back. And it was a very like the culture is just like I never participated because I hated everyone in my job, but it was one of those where I saw it like to get in or to get advanced, you had to kind of play along and play ball. And I do think that was one thing that was good about the pandemic is everyone was remote, so you kind of lost that like office kind of weirdness. So
Yeah.
I think everyone's going back in now from what I've seen. So I don't really know how it is now.
That toxic bro culture. I mean, look, I'm a veteran. Okay, I was in the Army. Let me tell you, brother. Do I know toxic bro culture? You know, and it's hard to see. It's funny. I had a conversation with a guy who actually ran that the project that's being much mocked about the male loneliness epidemic and understanding young men in America. It was much mocked. A lot of people make fun of it. But there is a truth to raising. I'm raising young kids. I've got in my home we have a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old, and of course I have older kids. And there is this question, it's like, where do I fit? You know, if I'm sensitive, I'm supposed to be sensitive, understanding of people, but I'm also being told I got to be manly and like break things. And it is really an interesting dichotomy that this generation feels. They don't see both, but it is weird that we all face those things. It's a thing. So look, we should probably bring up, because it was a week and a half ago, JJ, I forgot to do the panel because I was having so much fun talking with the man. So good. The panel picks away. Chanel's a veteran. Vic, the way we bring it up, and then you like pick one, we just jam. It's not very complicated. It sounds complicated, it's not. And we got this fancy graphic. I think you were here for this, Chanel. I think we had it there. Look at this. Look at that. We're getting cool now. Yeah, it's exciting. So, all right, Chanel. Coldplay divorce, right? Have you guys seen that? JJ, do we have the video? Do you have the video, JJ? You do not. Okay. So though he does not, he's fired. I don't know what. But if you haven't seen it by now, oh wait a minute, he's saying hold on now. Anyway, what happened was the Coldplay concert in Boston. They have a kiss cam, if you will, and it showed the audience. Did you find? I mean, and unfortunately, go ahead. I think you have it. JJ says he has it.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on.
There are so many layers to that. For example, if you hadn't acted like an idiot, nobody would have seen it. Did you guys catch that? What do you think of that action there, Chanel?
I love it. I love watching two white families burst into flames at the same time. I mean, white on white crime, it really is at an end. And I think without cameras, who would believe us that happened?
Somebody said a CEO getting caught having an affair with his HR admin at a Coldplay concert is the whitest thing ever. and I'm, as a middle-aged white man, I have a hard time disagreeing. You know, Vic, I mean, did you see The Friend? Vic, my favorite part is the woman over there, you know.
It also looks like he like off the whatever it was. He like disappeared. Like he really went somewhere, and she just like was like, "Oh my god!" And then the friend. But my favorite was the guy who was just excited, like the guy who was like, "Yay! Like we caught her!
Yay! They're screwing around."
I don't know who that guy was.
Divorce!
Woo! He was like, "Yeah, we're ruining this guy's life," and like he's just happy.
Woo! I'm on camera. That yet is another layer of white, Chanel, isn't it? Fuck, there's a camera.
Especially when I've seen like deep dives when they're saying like, well, he's the CEO, he's the head of HR. The other lady that was standing next to them is like in charge of personal whatever connections. Like they're all doing a bad at a Coldplay concert, and it's like the levels. It's like what were they eating? Tuna sandwiches? Did they all have a flip flop?
It just keeps coming out. Last time I checked, the wife had taken her last name off her Facebook. The drama is again.
They're like the most offensive thing about this is that they were at a Coldplay concert, which I thought was pretty funny. But, it is like, and it is something that's like it is a white thing because I think if there's any person of color, like if the announcers were people of color, they would have just minded their business. Everyone would have left it. No one would have done anything. Like, it just wouldn't have been like, all right, like that. If you heard the guy, he's like,
you called them out.
He's speculating to the entire crowd. He's just putting it out there. He's like, yeah, these people are being messy. It's like, you don't know. You're just blowing them up in front of 10,000 people. That's crazy.
He was like, have you guys ever seen somebody get caught cheating? Well,
yeah. Also, wait, why is there a play-by-play at Coldplay concert? It's not a sporting event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought the Kiss Cam was for like an NBA game or like. I'm like, what's going on? You guys should be singing a song. Beyonce's not taking a break.
Another level of white. Yet another level of whiteness, I think.
This would not happen at a future concert. I'll tell you
exactly.
That. And if it did, it'd be celebrated. It'd be a different vibe.
These are the cultural difference, which I think is one of the bullets. Bring it back up, JJ. Oh my God. Oh, here we go. All right, I don't know who's up. Chanel, you're up. I don't know.
Okay, texting etiquette.
Texting etiquette. I know we've discussed this. You know, I joke that I text like a teenager because that's how I communicate with my family. That's how I live and all of it. But there is etiquette involved, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Don't double text. Don't triple text unless it's news.
And you've been doing the dating apps, right, Chanel? I mean, you talk about the dating app. Have you been dating since we last talked? And that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing of texting, right? Texting is how you start with that thing, right?
Yeah.
You make judgments based on the reactions, don't you?
Absolutely, and I think that because I'm a comedian, I just run good game. Like, I know how to make a man giggle, if you know what I mean. And so I really start with the texting. Hey, good morning, handsome. You know, I can't see you, but I know what you're wearing. And I think sometimes just catching a man off guard via text, making him have to read it and then have a reaction, then he has to write back, LOL, like he has to take time and do all that. That gets a man wet. You know what I mean?
I am that man. That's how I met my fiance. My fiance I met via not on apps. We literally met on Twitter, which I'm not supposed to talk about, so we're not talking about it live on the internet. But we started DMing on Twitter, and she was traveling, and we had talked all day. And oh gosh, she's gonna kill me. Luckily, she doesn't watch the show. And she was in her Uber, and she goes, "Okay, this Uber driver is really strange. You're my my safety person." I said, "Great. Well, I'm gonna need proof of life." She goes, "You want me to send nudes?" And I'm like, did I ask? Did I? I went to panic, like, shit, I don't. And then she did the whole, I'm just fucking with you. But I gotta tell you, game. That was like, oh, okay, I see who this person is. She put me into panic mode like that. Vic, you've talked about texting etiquette. You're paranoid.
I also love to tell people that to text them and say, hey, I'm outside, but I'm not. I love that.
Waste their time. 2025.
They start calling you, just ignore them. Ignore them.
That was actually, speaking of text, that's a good segue because I'm dating someone now, and one thing that she does is I'll be like going to pick her up from her house, and I'll be like, hey, I'm pulling up, indicating like come down, and she's like in the elevator. It'll be 15 more minutes. I was like, the elevator really doesn't take 15 minutes. I know it doesn't take 15 minutes. And she's like, oh, I just say that. And I was like, don't say that. Give me an accurate reading. I would have left later. Like I'm the one sitting here. My time's being wasted. So that one is really triggering to me.
She's like, I'm opening your car door.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to see you. Where are you? What
Clock's
car
ticking.
are you getting into?
Missed your chance.
Driving to the restaurant, I was like, what are we talking about? So that's quite frustrating, but I'm dating a comedian too. So when we first started, it was like all text game because it was like because we were both really like funny in text, and I was impressed because to Chanel's point, it was nice to be like, oh, I got caught off guard by her response, or she was like wittier, fast, and so it actually was a big thing because I think normally with dating you're just trying to meet up and see like the person vibe, but with and you're like, oh, this is actually someone has good game. Like I'm enjoying the texting part of it too.
It's kind of nice. I mean, conversation. I saw one of those. I get all of my romantic inspiration from Facebook posts, and there was a meme. There was a meme like that that's a quote from an actual writer who's got brains, and it was just essentially that love and marriage is a conversation that just keeps going, and I think that's my fiance and I lived on 1,200 miles apart when that, and so all we could do was have a conversation, and so yeah, it's funny how that works out, and yeah, if you're good at what you do, then it works, so all right, bring it back up, JJ. All right, oh my God, okay, Vic, you're up.
I don't even know what the first one really is, so I'm going to go pick a culture.
Pick Mecha Hitler's AI is Grok on Twitter, but I do definitely let's pick a culture instead. That's what Grok. That's what Twitter's AI calls itself now, is Mecha Hitler. But I don't want to talk about that very much either, so I'm glad you don't. So pick a culture. I think other than me, who has a very cultural heritage, clearly. I know that you guys are of you get to just kind of pick and choose. Although I pick Irish or Italian or English or Italian. So that's my cultural heritage, but I don't know how do you find yourself in a situation you could pick a culture that you want to highlight, Vic?
Are you talking like a permanent change or just something that
just temporarily? Yeah. Lately, a lot of us are thinking about changing cultures lately. I tell you what, all of a sudden.
That was one of the early jokes I heard. They're like, white people invented haunted houses because they had to find a way to get scared in the world, like a way to get.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the South American Latin, that kind of culture a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's very similar to the Indian culture. It's very family oriented. They're amazing food, amazing the food and beverage is really highlighted, and that's important. And also spending time with multiple generations. It's not just young people hanging out with young people. The whole family hangs out, and I feel like that's it's a closer family unit, which I think is something that I value.
I love that. Yeah, it's that's Indian culture too. I know my son has dates a young Indian woman, lovely human being, lovely family, and it's one of the wonderful things. You can't go to an Indian restaurant and not find a whole family of 12, or being run by a whole family of 12.
The Indian slogan should be "No privacy" because you're not getting any in the house.
That's true.
Definitely
now,
not.
your culture, you came into cop culture late in your life, Chanel. So that's a version too, isn't it?
Culture, yeah. I mean, I'm multicultural. I'm Black, white, and Indian, but
right.
I sometimes do other Indians clock it. Like when I was in Australia, I was drunk and high at a bar, and this Indian guy came up to me and he was like, "You're brown in another way, aren't you?" And I was like, "Damn."
I'm not sure. I don't think I want to know what that means. I don't actually. I'm going to remain innocent. I'm not going to.
That's too layered. That's like the Coldplay concert.
Yeah, this isn't actually a family show, but I don't want to test it. I don't actually want to know.
Black people sometimes call themselves brown, but Indian people or people from the Middle East or I feel anything that Central South Asian diaspora, they also call themselves brown. A brown girl means usually an Indian girl. It doesn't automatically mean a black girl. So for somebody to say that they notice both types of brown in me, I'm like, you're killing it, man.
Wow. Okay, so that was a pro line.
Yeah. I was this guy, we're gonna make a baby. Nobody know what it is. That was amazing. This baby speaks everything. You know what I mean?
Hey, this is modern world, baby. We're all a hot mess. I'm a dying breed.
I think being multicultural keeps me booked a lot because I'm also a little Jewish, so that gets me on a lot of shows. I can do they just can't stop me out here, really. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing I don't
in New York.
The only thing I don't have is a little Latin culture, and that would be really cool if I had a little Latin culture. Because I gotta give a shout out to one of my best breakup songs ever. It's a Spanish song, "Mi Mayor Venganza," my great revenge. Just go. You don't even need to know all the words.
Yeah.
Words of it. You will feel
it. Just hits. Yeah.
Translate the chorus and go away. You know what I mean?
I was raised, my mom's Italian. She's an immigrant family. My dad mom's Irish, but the line's English, all the way back to 1640. So we said, let's get the DNA thing done. And because I was thinking, well, maybe, that's a pretty white culture if there ever was one. We're going to mix it up. I'm sure, you get these DNA tests, you find out you got African, whatever. I shit you guys not. I'm 51 English, 49 Italian. It's like clink, nothing else. It's like, no, you are exactly what you think you are, and you're the whitest person in this room. And
At least it's nice to know that, because it's annoying when there's like white people who are like, I'm 1% Native American. It's like, no, you're not. Like, don't.
No,
you can't
I don't
claim-
care. Yeah, don't. Yeah. It was that's the power of the DNA. It's like, nah, we're definitely not that. You know, we are. I've been to my dad's hometown, Lynn, Mass. Let me tell you. Anyway, look, we've been talking for a while. It's getting late. I know you got things to do. It's the most part of the show. Chanel, plug where you're at, where you're going, where you're touring, where can people find you online, all the things.
Hey guys, you can follow me at Chanel Ali on Instagram. That's Chanel like the perfume, Ali like Muhammad. I also have a website by the same name, chanel.com. Come see my off-Broadway show September 17th and 28th in New York City at the Soho Theater. It's incredible. You will laugh. You will cry. You will heal. And you should. You deserve it.
It's amazing.
I'm always doing shows. I got a lot of tours, dates coming up. If you're not in New York City, follow me, and I'll be your way soon.
Oh, I love it. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What an exciting time. Vic, talk to us, man. Where's everybody? You're everywhere. I was looking at your bio. I tried to read your whole bio. It's too long. Where can people find you, brother?
Yeah, I am permanently on tour. I'm in a new city almost every week. So I'm based in Chicago. Come see me at the Laugh Factory here. Come see me at Zany's here all the time. But I'm on the road. I'm going to be in LA, San Diego, Dallas, Milwaukee, Chandler, Arizona, Boulder, Colorado. So I got a bunch of dates coming up. Follow me on all social media at Vic, V-I-K, Pandya, P-A-N-D-Y-A. Also, same thing, website and all that stuff, same name. So follow me everywhere and say hello. Say you found me here on the show.
There you go. Too late to cancel. Vic Pandya, I appreciate you guys. You got to get your ass out in St. Louis. I live in St. Louis, so I'm just down the road.
We'll be there at the Funny Bone probably later this year. I'll definitely keep you
Boom. I love it. I catch more people. Trey Crowder's coming to visit. It's fun seeing like a lot of my old guests trooping through town. That's where Hofstetter was in town not long ago. Titus was in town. So I nakedly angle for free tickets. I'm not above it. But I know you guys got to get paid. So thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time. You guys are the best. Chanel, congratulations. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for being a returning guest. I always love returning guests. Great to meet you, Vic. You're stuck. You'll be back too. So thank you. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
See you, Chanel.
Bye. Man, I needed a laugh this week. Holy crap. It's so fun. I'm gonna try and make my way to New York to see Chanel's show. It's gonna be amazing. What a wonderful experience, and to put the heart into it. You've seen her, and great to meet a new friend of Vic. That's our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We just love having you guys here. Always important to remember, we have Too Late to Cancel every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here in the same bat channel, same bat place, or wherever the hell you. Sign up for our Substack, fpwellman.substack.com. We put everything else. But more importantly than that, producer JJ produced a beautiful website for us called toolatetocancel.com. So easy to remember, toolatetocancel.com. Go there. You'll find all of our stuff. You'll find the latest show. You'll find links out to our social media. You'll find clips. You'll just how to find our guests. JJ is a master of taking care of me and making me look like I'm competent, and that's how he does. And so make sure to go check out Too Late to Cancel to find all of our sources. You can find all information. In the meantime, as always, we are appearing every Friday night on Democracy with FP Wellman, our original show. Friday nights is 7 on the Midas Touch Network. So excited to be there. Shows are doing great. And we're also releasing new In the Hot Seats. And In the Hot Seat with FP Wellman is a series of random interviews, periodic shows, interviewing candidates for Congress. We've already released, I think, 4 or 5 now at this point. I just interviewed Dr. Annie Andrews, who's running against Lindsey Graham. Those are being released on Midas Touch exclusively. Check them out too. All the places you can find us. There's just so much great content going on right now. It's an exciting time in our country. Thanks for joining us as always. Thanks for our regulars. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. We will see you here again next week.